cut anyone else in line, especially when it's like a really packed club. But if it was a woman, I'd be like, okay, she wants to be with her girlfriend. 4 men are cutting women in line to get ahead of them in a nightclub.
Invited me out for her birthday, and I went to a club here in Atlanta a year ago, and it was boring. They're catering to men now instead of women.
I believe it, but I'm actually on the man's side. But asking a man for money and you've only known him for 2 days is just, it's wicked.
A lot of times the ratio is between 70 to 80% of the venue is women.
We have this going on tonight, but just so you know, you will be standing in line. Here talking about how club culture died when they stopped letting girls in to the club for free. And I was thinking about this because over the weekend, I went to, I think it's a club. People say that it's not. I think it's a club. It's a club to me. And there were like 6 guys in the middle of the dance floor dancing. There were no girls. And I just thought to myself, oh, well, bro time, this is so cute. Like, but I didn't think to myself, no, this is actually odd. And then I have a friend who works the door at a place where people can go and dance. It's not a club, it's a bar, but he works the door, and he was just talking about how mad he gets when girls expect for him to just let them in. And I was thinking to myself, man, like, I remember.
I understand. Girls, that's gonna be the what this video is about. Girls wanting everything free, right? You want things free, you want it how it used to be, but things aren't how they used to be. What do I mean? Watch this.
Many women in a club, and that's actually what's killing club culture, club experience for people who are going out currently. By too many women, I mean the ratios are off in most events that I go to. With the exception of everyday people, I feel like that has a pretty good, like maybe 60-40 ratio. Most of the time when I'm out in the city on a random kind of Saturday, Friday, what have you, a lot of times the ratio is between 70 to 80% of the venue is women. And, you know, you think like, oh, a venue with more women sounds good because you don't want sausage fest. I think there's that's true, but there's got to be like a critical mass of men where it's like, you know, now it's a chick party. Because when the ratios are off that bad, so like, all right, so you got, let's say you got 30 to 20% of your attendees are men. Of that, a good 10, maybe as high as 15% are probably there with their significant other. So, you know, hopefully, you know, you got 20, anywhere between 10 to 20% of a venue being single men. And, you know, if you're familiar with club kind of history, right, is single men were the economic engine of the club, right? Is their desire to be near women that, and you know, engage and flirt and talk with women that allowed for women to get in the club for free, but, you know, them to be able to be charged a premium, be charged for drinks, this, that, and the third, you know.
All right, so we're here. We're hearing what's going on because the other lady, she made it seem like it was packed full of men. Those 6 men on the dance floor were probably really the only 6 men in the club. And then one of the guys that stand on tables that ladies complain about, right?
In sections, you know, as a result of that. And so when, like I said, once the ratio is so far off, the economics of this whole game change and you kind of got to play it differently. And I'm not one of those corny, like, men are staying inside to protect their peace type dudes. It's a question I ask myself often because, like, not only in, like, clubbing and partying, but, like, civic and service orgs that I'm in, right, it's very hard to get men to come out and participate. So, you know, this is a question I'm constantly asking myself. How do I help other men and brothers come out and be more social? I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I want to say another thing that's wrong with club culture now. Everywhere the music is too loud, right? How can anybody holler at anybody if I can't hear my thoughts? If I leave your club and my ears are ringing, how are you facilitating any connections at your venue?
You know what he doesn't understand, right? Other men think the same thing. And then also, other men think it doesn't make sense. So what's happening? The reason why night club culture is off because men are saying no, I don't want to go, and the men that are going are being Neanderthals. They're the alphas. These ladies are partying with the guys they want. They don't know it. They just don't know it because these are the guys they usually go home with from the club. All the 6 foot guys are there.
I guarantee if we did a study, anything you hear in Chicago, let me know. I'm willing to help. We're gonna lower your volume by 10 decibels, and we're gonna do some surveys, and we'll watch customer service, customer satisfaction go up, and watch more people come back because it was like, I can actually hear myself thinking there. I had a really good time. All right, final thing, and then I'm wrapping this video up. It's crowded, particularly in Chicago, right? Every bar is operating like it is the size of a nightclub, and it's not. If you are not in the section, like most venues, black venues in Chicago, it's like if you're not in the section, you're in the way, and that's just a terrible user experience, right? A customer experience, because not every weekend or every time I go out do I want a section, and so when you have it where if you're not in the section, you are now in the route of us doing our logistics for the bar, I'm gonna just go home, right? It's loud, I can't hear nothing, I can't hear myself think, it's crowded, it's hot, I can't, it's too many people in here. These are all things that lead to a poor experience and just lead to people saying like, I don't really want to do that anymore. So yeah.
I'm outside of a salsa club in San Diego, wondering where my husband is. I've done the work.
So I'm old and I've lived in multiple cities, and I remember there was a time when you could literally get into the club like just because you were a girl. Promoters would come out onto the street and look for girls, offer them offer them shots if they came into the club. Years ago, the guy at the door, he was telling me, I hate it when girls just come to the club and expect to get in for free. I don't care how pretty you are going to stand in line. I was like, oh my gosh. Thinking to myself, where did I get the idea that girls go to the club and don't stand in line? Because I had this idea in my head that girls just don't stand in line at the club. It's because now that I've been seeing all this discourse about club culture, it's because there was a time. It's like I forgot about it. It was so long ago, but there was a time when if you were a group of girls, you were definitely getting into the club for free. You were skipping the line because men bring the money and the men want to go where the girls are at, but not anymore. The men want to go where the men are at, and they just don't need girls to have a good time.
Those days are over.
Anymore. Specifically, remember, there was a time you'd be standing in a line outside, and the man at the door would let all of the ladies come in, and the men had to stand in line. That really happened. It's all coming back to me. But now it's gotten so bad on social media. The club DJs, they will say, oh, we have this going on tonight, but just so you know, you will be standing in line. Okay. Just tell us you don't want us there. Like, just tell us we're just one of the bros. You know? Dab us up while you're at it. This all happened in a bit of a sneaky way because everyone stopped going to the club in 2020. Clubs reopened again. We all had to stand in line in heels. I remember girls just being like, no, I'm not gonna go stand in line in my heels for hours to get in the club. We stopped going, like. We could do like a trial night. Girls don't stand in line or girls get in free. And let's just see what happens. It's worth a try. I mean, how much money are you gonna lose? We weren't gonna go anyways.
2011 to 2015, which means I was in all the clubs, Story, Live, all of them. I was called a promoter, so I always got into VIP for free. Basically, I had a very good time. And during that time, there were rules. But the clubs and the promoters were smart. They knew that if you catered to women, the men would come. The men would pay. Why? Because men want access to women, but also men are in competition with each other. And so oftentimes the girls got in free before 11:30 and men had to pay. It depended on if they were coming with the promoter, they would pay like $20. But typically speaking, that was a cover for the club. And you knew that as one of the girls in VIP, it was your job to make the club fun. You were going to be up, you were going to dance, you were going to have a good time with your girls, and you were going to be relatively safe because the promoter and the bouncers were making sure that you were good. And it worked because oftentimes the promoter was the only dude, or promoter and maybe like 2 or 3 of his friends were the only dudes in a section full of like 10 girls. And so it would make other men also feel like they had to spend money. And because men knew that women would be at certain clubs or bars, they would also make sure that they were at those clubs and those bars, because why? They wanted access to at least be in proximity to women. And one of my classmates invited me out for her birthday, and I went to a club here in Atlanta a year ago, and it was boring. It was absolutely boring because it's obvious that they're catering to men now instead of women. And one of the major ways in which it's obvious that they're doing that is not only that they're charging women to get in, they also do not play club music. Why are y'all not playing a mix of music in order for people to be able to dance to? Why are you playing trap music the entire night? Where's the Megan Thee Stallion? Where's the Glorilla? Where's the Cardi? Where is the ass-throwing music? And I am older now, so I don't know exactly what these kids listen to. But I do know for a fact that entire night, they barely played anything that you could actually dance to.
Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, woo! Your choices are in the gutter.
Went clubbing and nightlife for me. So I don't think I'm going out again. And before you get defensive in the comments, listen to the weekend that I had. First of all, I got into a screaming match with a guy because he wanted to stand up on the platform and dance and sing, and I made a comment about it. And so then he started screaming at me, getting his hands were all up in my face, talking about, "Shut up, I don't care about you." And his friend literally had to intervene in between me and him because he was all up in my face because he was mad that I made a comment about him standing up on a platform, singing and dancing, and not letting anyone else get up there or letting any women get up there. So he got mad, got all up in my face, started cussing me out, screaming at me. That was the first straw. Then, while I'm waiting in line to go to this one club, these guys standing in front of me want to bring up their friends. So they're like, "Hey, we want our 3 guy friends to cut you and all of your female friends." And I'm like, hey, so that's not gonna happen, because in general, if a girl was trying to cut me, I wouldn't be that cool with it. So in general, regardless of your gender, please do not cut anyone else in line, especially when it's like a really packed club. But if it was a woman, I'd be like, okay, she wants to be with her girlfriends. But tell me why 4 men are cutting women in line to get ahead of them in a nightclub. So guy tells me, he's like, "My friends are cutting you." Doesn't even ask. I'm like, sorry, no, that's not happening. And he's like, no, they're cutting. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. My friends are getting in front of you and your friends in the line. There's no choice. And I'm like, what do you mean there's no choice? Like, you can't cut us in line. And he's like, I don't care, enough. Starts talking to me in Arabic, speaking to me in Arabic, telling me to like be quiet and that he doesn't care. Okay? That's not even the end of it. This guy.
Wow, this is nuts. Men are ready to fight women. Nah. This is too far, y'all. Too far.
Like, no. They're cutting. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. My friends are getting in front of you and your friends in the line. There's no choice. And I'm like, what do you mean there's no choice? Like, you can't cut us in line. And he's like, I don't care, enough. Starts talking to me in Arabic, speaking to me in Arabic, telling me to like be quiet and that he doesn't care. Okay? That's not even the end of it. This guy comes up to me, starts talking to me, right? Conversation's going pretty well. He goes, sorry, I can't keep talking to you. I don't want to ruin your life. I'm like, why would you ruin my life? He has a wife and 2 kids. Yeah, the guy that approached me has a wife and 2 kids. And then in the middle of our conversation, he's like, I don't want to ruin your life. Oh, then the guys that invite you to this section. So they're like, hey, come in our section. Once guys invite you into their section, they think that because they invited you into their section, they have some type of ownership or right over you. Some guy taps me. He's like, so since I got you into my section, I need your number. No. Like, I will gladly go into the general admission. I don't owe. Or the guys that think that they can start touching you because they got you into their section. I do not give a. Also, the way that men think, like, if a girl is like talking to them or flirting with them, they're like entitled to grab her. What the? Or like the way that guys literally treat bottle girls in the club. Like, I'm sorry, I think I'm done. I think this weekend was genuinely my last straw. Because men have completely ruined clubbing. Completely. Yeah, it sucks now. So, that's your warning.
Okay, so I know a lot of people are talking about how clubbing is dead and shit, but I think that it's dead because there ain't no chairs.
No free
Shit,
chairs.
I need to have a seat. My God, especially with drinks and y'all want people in heels and things. No, ma'am.
You look kind of old. You should be home, lady. Are you over 30? People over 30 should be in a club now.
I really be out here, okay, standing up for several hours.
But
So I'm not going clubbing. I clubbed at a time way back in the day because I
oh
am
yeah, I
still a
bet.
millennial where you could get a table immediately as soon as you walked in, a
Early
regular free
millennial.
table. And it
What are
was
you?
always a bitch that didn't want to
40?
dance, and that bitch would sit there and watch everybody's purse
She's
and
old. She got
keep
gray hair.
drinks and okay, like, and then she would have a couple songs that she would dance to, and then that bitch would get up and we would watch her shit, okay, and then we would all come back to the table very up later. I remember very clearly one time it was cups sitting on the table. I threw up in every one of them cups. And then we left. And then because then went to White Castle or something and had a great time. Because that's what clubbing was. It was not recorded.
She's
I
drunk
just
now.
gotta tell you, okay. So you just gotta get what I tell you.
That lady is drunk right now. No, right now as I'm making this video, she's still drunk. She in the house like, yeah, what I tell you. What I tell you.
On Twitter of men showing receipts, basically of women like begging them for money.
Mm.
When I tell you, I've been dying laughing at that.
But that's what's happening in this video as well. Think about it. Ladies talking about getting them free. That's how the video started. Getting free drinks. They want everything free. No more. Men are barely going. They trying to get men to the clubs. I hear about them giving men free drinks now. Like in DC. Like it's crazy.
For like days now. I can't believe it, but I'm actually on the man's side when it comes to this because the
You
way
should be.
that some of these women are begging men for money, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a pick me, and I totally feel like a man should be paying for a lot of things. But asking a man for money and you've only known him for 2 days is just, it's wicked. Really hurting my heart, y'all. I'm hoping that majority of those women actually hate those men and they just want them to stop texting them. Because if there's a man that you don't want him around and he refuses to leave you alone, I'm telling you, the quickest way to get rid of him is to ask him for some money. I promise you. It works every time like a charm, okay? Ask that man for some money. Now, if he's annoying and won't go away and you ask him for some money and he send it and he still don't go away, then you got another problem on your hands. And I'm going to say that ain't really a problem. Ugh. I have the hardest time asking a man for something. Like, I would rather you just do as opposed to me having to ask. But it's females out here really asking men, like, I'm talking about not even saying good morning first. Just straight out, like, I need this. Like, as a woman that takes care of the majority of all of her own responsibilities, I don't really want to have to ask you for this, and that. Like, I would rather you, after observation, like, see how I live and then just add to that. Am I crazy? Maybe I need to get out here and start dry begging, asking for $50.
Well, ladies have been doing this all through time, but they do it, as you said, to guys they don't like. And they don't care. Most ladies don't care. Why? Because they'll always go for the man they want. What do I mean? They'll try to get a guy to be their man, pay their bills, and still give it up to the man they want. And ladies do that everywhere. So, fellas, you need to be careful. Even guys going overseas, you never know what anybody's doing. It's dangerous out here.
Ladies, leave your man at home. The club is full of ballers and their pockets full grown. And all you fellas, leave your girl with her friends. 'Cause it's 11:30 and the club is jumping. Destiny's Child released this song, Jumpin', Jumpin', in 2000. My entire childhood, I was looking forward to the club scene, as they foretold it would be full of ballers, shot callers. Yet sadly, I walk into the club and instead it is filled with bad. Not me and my girlfriends, but you and your homeboys, strong-arming your way to the front lines, pushing your way onto the stage, not throwing any money, you're not buying drinks, you're not paying for sections, you're big and you're in the way. My girls and I fear that we may never know the club scene of old. Tragic.
Off life ladies, beware the friends that take care of men. One girl was in town and was like, I brought my friend with me and he wants to play golf. Is there a way you can get him in your country club? No, I can't. She paid for the whole trip, paid for the hotel, paid for their dinners, and they want me to hook him up and let him come golf where I have a membership? No, absolutely not. Like, I'm not giving you none of my hookups, but I'm not helping you if you're gonna turn around and give it to a man. I'm not doing that.
Like, you know what's a crazy thing? Like, that man could have very well been rich. He could have. You don't know, right? She's doing that now. She'll probably lock him down. You never know. And what happens with ladies like this? You know what men are starting to do now? I looked it up. I saw a guy in China. Men do this all the time, men with money. He acted like he had nothing. Was dating a lady. But he owned like he owned like convenience stores, but had like 100, 200 stores in China. And people do this in the West too. Didn't tell her. Come to find out, the man had that. Guys continuously do things like this. Why? Because not every man needs to show off. I'm not saying that was him, but a lady like you will never get to the prize. Because a man like me, say if I'm out there dating and I had money, that's exactly what I would do. Right? To see how many ladies pass me up as a 5'7" guy. Seriously. I'd be out there like that, going to the club and everything, trying to shoot my shot, getting rejected, going through the pain, get somebody, not tell them nothing. Meanwhile, I'm loaded. Because as a man, trying to see if somebody's really there for him, he can't let it be known. But ladies like her will never know.
Guy makes a girl pay, or he doesn't open the door for her, or he's just not being a gentleman, and he's like, well, you wanted equality. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? We wanted equal rights, like women should be able to vote and stuff. What? That's literally it. No one asked to pay for anything. No one asked to open their own doors or carry their own suitcases. Don't be manipulative like that. That's crazy. Don't flip it on us like that. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? We wanted to be able to speak and have a voice and get jobs if we wanted to.
No.
But please.
I gotta stop it right there because that's how you feel. Maybe. Seriously, I think you're just trying to make a video. Because ladies talk like this and then really are hardcore feminists. Maybe you're not though, but your sisters did this for you. And so many men see this continuously. Video after video you ladies make. Doing exactly the opposite of what you're talking about right now.
Argument is so crazy to me. It's really funny. I'm like, oh, you're stupid.
Just about making sure that, you know, all the expenses are paid for concerning the date when you invite me to a date with you, especially like on the first date, because I would like to think, or at least I'm always going to think that the first date is just a pre.
She didn't like the date because you didn't pay for her parking. So now when you take a lady on a date, you should pay for the parking, yet alone 100 for the date. Crazy.
View is just a window as to what I'm going to expect from you throughout the duration of us dating.
It's not about the money. It's about making sure all the expenses are paid for concerning the date. So it is about the money. She mentioned in her own video that the guy took her on a date to a very expensive restaurant. And when she got there, she realized that she had to pay for parking. But wait, it wasn't until she got to the table, she decided to pull out her credit card to type it into her phone to pay for the parking. So that tells me one of two things. Either she wanted to test him to see if he would offer to pay, or she wanted him to pay. But has it ever occurred to some of y'all that the man that you're going on a date with is also looking to see what type of person you are? Because here he's taking you on a very expensive dinner date, which is probably going to be anywhere from $250 to $350. And all you potentially have to do is pay a $20 parking ticket. Whenever I see things like that, it always tells me that that person is ungrateful and they will only appreciate you based off the things that you do for them.
No, thank you.
The Iceman is coming!
Winter is here.